Greetings, Israel, Judah, your brother DFG. Hey guys, first Shabbat Shalom to each and every one of my Shabbat keeping brothers and sisters, and I hope you're remembering the importance of Shabbat. You know, there's a time for rest and reflection, meditation, and it's also a time for Abba Yah to look at each and every one of us in regards to our discipline. What is the discipline? The discipline of saying, you know what? You know, he wants me to do a particular behavior, and that behavior is to him the most important day of the week. And when I'm obedient to that, then he assures me that I could trust that my week is going to be a blessed week, a week of understanding, a week of wisdom, a week of opportunity. And more important than any of that, if all that is not inclusive in this one statement, I will hear his voice so I can understand his direction as he guides our footsteps. Okay, my brothers and sisters? So just wanted to say that again to each and every one of my brothers and sisters. Shabbat Shalom. Brothers and sisters, I also want to remind everyone of our weekly nights, Wednesday night Bible study, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. And I will tell you, this past Wednesday night, Yah blessed us with some pretty good information. He blessed us with the vision of Noah. Now, some of you brothers and sisters might say, well, what's the vision of Noah? Well, in the book of Enoch, there are passages there that tells us exactly how Noah knew that the flood was coming. It told us who built the ark for Noah. It told us what role Michael, the deliverer, that Daniel chapter 12, verse 1 talks about. It told us where the hidden fallen angels were. It told us that how they're going to come back. As a matter of fact, those scriptures told us that they were already back. And we see signs and indicators of that already as we look, and as you guys know, as these heathens are now, you know, being transparent, you know, about the so-called UFOs, you know, aliens or alien invasions, and they are here, and they've been here for a while, and the government, you know, has kept those things a secret. But interestingly enough, you know, most of our people are kind of going along. Most people on this earth are just going along, you know, no big deal, nothing to see here. Yet if someone had said this exact same stuff that they're talking about right now in the United States Congress, the whole nation would have been in a state of panic. They would not have been able to take their eyes off of those hearings. But there's a spirit in the earth now. And it's not Yah's that's dominating this earth. The spirit of the fallen are here. And their vision, their purpose is being executed. And the governments of this world conspired with them. Remember what Psalms 83 said. And not only did the governments of this entire flat earth conspire with them, their target was to put Israel in such a state of mind that we wouldn't even understand, you know, we were under assault, vicious assault by them. And of course, they used the jab to push a lot of that. That's why all of their, what you call it, programming was centered around the so-called targeted group. If you're here in America, they use the little filthy, nasty rappers to help them, Juvenile. You know, remember that whole little thing, sort of back that thing up? His little 1970 one-hit wonder song. Well, he had a couple of them, so I shouldn't call him a one-hit wonder. But they took one of his popular songs, you know, back that thing up. And they just changed the lyrics. Remember, Vax. And you had all people just a dancing and rolling up their sleeves, and now people just a falling, full of diseases. Ever knowing, as once someone wrote, but ever knowing, but never able to come to the knowledge of the truth, which simply means that they just could not comprehend what's happening. So when we studied in the Bible study this past Wednesday night, you know, Yahuah allowed us to break that down, to teach it. and connect dots, brothers and sisters. He allowed the Bible study to to go through the expanse of time, from Noah's time to these last times that Daniel chapter 12 talked about, when Gabriel told him to seal up the book to the time of the end, that knowledge would be increased, that men would be busy running to and fro. So again, I invite you to come and be a part of those studies. They're there for increasing your one's knowledge. We don't ask for anything from you, but just, just coming in and sitting with us like a fireside chat, so to speak. Sitting around a campfire, if you've ever been out camping, and someone is, sitting, telling, sharing information, revealing, sometimes secrets. Not wicked secrets, I'm talking about campfires. But what we're doing, yes, you would say revealing secrets that are hidden in plain sight. But again, that's every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And all are invited. 1 hour of straight up studying. And I think those who participated in the study this past Wednesday night will tell you it was very insightful. We covered everything again from what happened in Maui, and still going on really in Maui, to what's happening, or what was prophesied to happen with the heat waves, and etc. I can talk for another 10 minutes, or I could share the whole Bible study, which I'm not. But you're invited, so mark it on your calendar. Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. All right? DFG, end of days messenger. Because that's what we're talking about. The end of time. We're not wasting people's time, talking, little using Christy antics. That we don't have, it's not a, how you say, warm, fuzzy feeling time. We get down to business. We tell everybody to make sure you have your hammer and your saw so you can take notes and listen to learn. Okay? Now, that being said, I want to also remind Israelites, those of you who are fellowshipping through the Bible studies, there's another opportunity to meet and greet, your Israelite brothers and sisters, myself and many others, the readers. I know you guys are familiar now with Brother Jonathan, if you own the studies, Brother Dennis. And those brothers, and others, are with us on Friday nights, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. And there we discuss all kind of subjects and topics. Last night we went from Marcus Garvey to Malcolm X to the Voices of Freedom, the Civil Rights Act, the 4 little girls who were killed in the Birmingham, bombing in 1963, almost 60 years ago. And it was all, we just kind of went through a history of time, bringing it back up to present and current. Talking about, again, the attack on our people through venereal diseases and how they're using artists today to promote behavior that's right now causing black men and black women from the ages of 13. Our brother Franklin shared that last night. Our dear brother Lamar Franklin shared the statistics with us last night that the age group from 13 years old, if y'all can believe that or not, brothers and sisters, to 30 were the most impacted, infected with HIV. And most of them have no idea. And nobody's talking about the fact that, HIV untreated leads to AIDS. And once you have AIDS, you pretty much are on the clock. You're 11 seconds. Remember that? Come on. Expired. And he shared with us how you can get it. And how you can get it is what's being promoted right now. Talking about through the music industry, into the urban areas, into our areas, where most of our people are concentrated. And yet no one's talking about it. And we talked about that last night. So what I'm saying is that this channel is for education, for edification. We're serious here. But at the same time, we're engaging, we're embracing. And if your heart is in the right place, then you're welcome to join us if you're an Israelite. I'm talking about the Bible, the Zoom call. And we get to know you through the Bible study. If you want to be a part of a family of like-minded people, but not a part of any so-called religious organization, then we're here for you. Okay? So keep that in mind. Again, the Wednesday night Bible studies open to everyone, heathens included, believe it or not. Because it's just a listening, and we ask you to mute your phone, and then we start to teach, and then, we let you go and do your research, follow up, go take it before Abba Yah and see what Abba Yah reveals to you as in relationship to what we learned. So again, you're welcome to join us, and we hope to see you there. And then one other thing before we get into today's message, I just want to thank again my brothers and sisters, for the gifts and donations to the channel, because that's important as well. And Sister Billups, thank you. Sister Maria, thank you. Brother Adrian, thank you, for your gifts and your love and your caring and your sharing. Much appreciated. And for all of my brothers and sisters, those of you who continue to stand with your brother, and share, what I know is hard-earned resources, but at the same time, Yah's going to bless you, 100-fold for that. And those of you who can't, then Yah knows your heart. So don't sweat that out. That's not the most important thing, that you can do in support of this ministry. The most important thing that you could do is share this information with others. Whether that be share it, thumb it up, leave comments, that's the most important. But that's not to minimize, again, gifts and offerings through donations, okay? All right. Well, brothers and sisters, we're going to get into the book of Jeremiah today. And I've already gone before Abba Yah. This is something that I was looking at for the last several days. And this is going to be a reminder to my brothers and sisters about Jacob's trouble. Who is Jacob? Israel. Why do we have troubles? Because we're in these last days. Why do we have troubles? Because we are the key to whatever happened or what's going to happen to every wicked soul on this earth. Every devil on this earth is being judged by what we, Israel, the melanated bloodline sons and daughters of the patriarch Jacob, Israel, Yasharel, however we call his name. But we are the key. And everything that is predestined to happen is centered around what happens to us. As it was with Noah, in Noah's vision. Noah went to his grandfather, great-grandfather, Enoch, said, what's going on? What is this, all this perturbation going on in there? In other words, he's saying, what is all this anxiety and this mental unwellness happening? Why are people acting like they have lost their minds? And he told them, because we're at the end of time, Noah. And because of your righteousness and your obedience, because you decided not to acclimate to the things that were going on in his time, as many of us are choosing. Leviticus 10:10, remember? Do not mix holy with unholy. Do not mix clean with unclean. Amos reminds us of us. In Amos chapter 3, how can two walk together and agree? And Noah listened. And all those who were with Noah, they listened. And yes, they were blessed because they were spared and their seed was allowed to continue to live on. If you're studying the book of Ezra, 2nd Ezra 6:9, what does it say? Esau is the end of the world. But Jacob, Israel, Yasharel, is the beginning of the world that follows. And we're going to talk about this. But before we get to the new beginning that follows, we're going to have to deal with the end that's now. The judgment of this earth that's right now. And again, my brothers and sisters, this is not a message of causing fear in you. We're not trying to spook you. All we're doing is warning you. We're letting you know danger is all around us. And if we don't respect that danger, then that danger is not going to spare us. Yah is not going to protect us. See, Noah was protected because he respected not only what was going on around him, he was concerned about it. But in this respect, he went to the elders to ask the elders, what do you see? What do you understand? What is happening? And how is it going to impact me? See, that's intelligence. That's what intelligence sounds like. Not, oh, they're just trying to scare. Oh, I'm not worrying about that. Oh, everybody got to die one day. That's not intelligent thinking, brothers and sisters. Those are realities, but that's not intelligent. That is not what Gabriel told Daniel, the prophet. What will be happening to those who will be spared the judgment, the harsh judgment, the fire judgment that's coming, the destruction that's coming. He said, no, they wouldn't think like that. He said, the wicked would think that way. But he said the wise would what? They would understand. They would study. They would be a part of learning. They would adjust their lives. They would walk away from uncleanliness. They would despise what is unholy. They would keep a standard. And they would never allow themselves to fall below a standard of morality. Brother Franklin talked about the immorality because he was talking about, some of these little wicked little demons what sounds like hood rats, if you can believe it. A song called Hood Rats. And it was talking about Israelite daughters of Zion. And being promoted, believe it or not, on the radio stations. And if you don't trust what I'm saying, you can go to YouTube. It's there. I wouldn't have, if I were you mothers, fathers too, but mothers, I wouldn't have my little children there when you start to look at it, because you're going to hear these people talking about things. If that's not a HIV cave, HIV trap snare, you never heard one before. There's a thing called rectal fluid, vagina fluid, and they're directly attached to HIV. And what they were promoting in that video is no way that you would be able to avoid getting those fluids in your body except you listen to those ladies singing. And I think the singers was Suki Hana and Sexy Red. Y'all don't hold me to that. You could have just named them trash, but hey, I didn't get the chance to choose their names. But they promoted a lifestyle that's a death sentence to both our men and women. And who's behind them? Supporting them economically, giving them the resources to produce those videos and those songs? Record companies. And we don't have to get into the depths of who are behind the record companies. Just put it like this. They don't look like this. They're not the melanated ones. They're the non-melanated, predominantly. Those who own those industries. The names you very seldomly hear. Not the faces, the P. Diddy's and the other so-called producers, Jermaine Dupri's and all of those Jay-Z's. No. Those are just puppets. Those are little minions. No, we're talking about their bosses. All to the destruction of our people. And as a reminder, let's take a quick little peek, brothers and sisters. Let's go over to, because again, when you hear these things that I say, and then they bring their little evil teachers on their little evil programs, and y'all know who I'm talking about, the Candace Owens. And I know some of you say, but she's good, brother. She tells the truth. She works for the enemy. She would be seen somewhere between a Jezebel and an Adu. If you don't know who Adu is, it's Lot's wife. She's a combination between the two, somewhere in the middle. Why do you say that, Brother DFG? Because she pretends she's with us, but she never left them. Oh, and secondly, you follow me, she believes that her voice, her word is a word that needs to be heard. Jezebel. But let's look over, and not only her, but you got your Jason, Piggly Wigglies, Whitlocks, and you got many others. Geno Jennings, there's a lot of them. I don't want to waste our time, your time, telling you about all of the traitors who are inside of Israel. Some that we know, some that are renowned, some of the names, the Larry Elders, you know, the Charlemagne, the Gods, the Jesse Petersons, those guys. But then you got others who no one knows about, but they're just as damaging as the bigger ones, because they set themselves also up to conspire against their own people, thinking that gives them some level of importance, never considering that the work that they are attacking, when they try to discourage or misdirect, deceive Abiyah's people, is a direct assault to the Creator, their Creator as well. And Yah is going to judge them for it. Just remember, when you're listening to them, just remember who's behind them. Always keep that in mind. How are they benefiting from saying this? And you should ask that question about me too, I might add. How is DFG benefiting from teaching this? And I can answer that question real easy. Go to Ezekiel chapter 3. Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 10. That's good. 2 places. Hallelujah. First, let's find out how DFG benefits from it. As I told you how they're benefiting, they're benefiting from taking, money from their, bosses. Let's just say it that way. Your brother DFG, he benefited from this way. You look at Ezekiel 3:17. It reads, Son of Adam, son of man, I made you a watchman unto the house of Israel. That's our people. He made me a watchman. Therefore, one of many. Therefore, hear the word of my mouth and give the warning from me. To who? To Israel, our people. That's what I'm doing right now. And when I say unto the wicked, and Daniel talked about the wicked wouldn't understand, but the wise would understand, Daniel chapter 12, you shall surely die, and you give him not a warning. So when I say to my brothers and sisters that what they're promoting through their music is destruction of their own people, through their programs, the discrediting of their own people by not holding others accountable for the role that they played in the behavior of our people. It's not to take away from what our people are doing, but not to recognize who's promoting that and who created that and who incentivizes that. That's disingenuous. That makes them liars. That would make me a liar if I just talked about all of the so-called black on black crime, but I don't think about, who put, all of things, everything that you could think that would destroy a community is getting promoted in those communities, and nothing that's beneficial and helpful is there. And none of those things that are causing destruction in those communities are owned by the people that live in those communities, because there's an intentional redlining programs to keep them poor, and the only way they can survive is embracing all of the destructive antidotes. That's what I got to do to survive in those communities. And I would be about as dumb and ignorant as the rest of them if I didn't call that out and acknowledge it. Is that an excuse for us to do it? No. But is it an incentive or an enticement for those who don't know Yahuah, they don't know their Creator, those that don't walk in Abiyah's truth? Yes. And again, as a watchman, my job is to warn them. Your job as well is to warn them. Well, you're not going to listen, Brother DFG. Well, let's see what it says. What happens if they don't listen to us? Let's read here. It says, when I say unto the wicked, you shall surely die, and you give him not a warning. In other words, you don't say nothing to them. You ignore it, or you say, well, they're not going to listen to me. Nor speak to warn the wicked from their wicked ways. Talking about their music, lifestyles, idolatry, sorcery, witchcraft, and more. Unholy living, unclean living, no morality, immoral living, wicked living. He says this, I'll require his blood on my hands. I'm talking about on the watchman's hands. I'm not responsible for what they do. I've already told you who's behind that. They're responsible for what they do, and those who incentivize them to do it are responsible for what they do. And those, who participate in it are accountable for what's going on in regards to what they do. But my hands become clean of it, my incentive, my hands become clean of it when I warn our people against it. That's what this channel is all about. So what is my incentive? To warn them so that their blood is not on my hand, regardless of the decision that they make. And that's my ticket to get to the next world and still stay blessed in the one that we're in. Abba Yahuah still hears my prayers. So that's my incentive. Let's go back and look at, again, why is Peterson doing what he's doing? Larry Elder's doing what he's doing. Candace Owens doing what she does. The Geno Jennings, the Dows, who teaching our people to be idolaters by serving the heathen God, so-called Jesus, with his many, many, many other names. Let's go over to the book of Psalms. It's Shabbat. And you know what they're going to say? What better thing than we could be doing right now, my dear brothers and sisters, than sharing and going through the word? Remember, your brother is not here to tell you what to do. Your brother is here to warn you about what's going on so that you don't become ensnared or trapped, captured, enamored, attracted to engaging it, through participating in it, and also promoting it to your own children. If you're listening to this stuff and you got this stuff playing in your homes or in your cars or at your social events, etc., then you're participating in the wickedness and the sorcery that, again, Noah's vision talked about. If you were with us on the Bible study, you would know what I'm talking about. In the book of Enoch, the Apocrypha book, you would understand how those spirits, they're many, many Satans, what in there's devils, and what they do, they transfer, they jump bodies. They go from body to body to body. And they don't care if it's a child. They don't care if it's a dog. They don't even care, if it's a piece of wood. They can get into anything, my brothers and sisters, and be highly effective in cursing and destroying and damning those who are in possession of those things. Really serious stuff here, brothers and sisters. I know a lot of unbelievers who don't follow, they think this is a game. They really think that I guess we're kooks and we're off our rockers. I think I said that right. But guess what, brothers and sisters? The book said because, well, let's just say it like this. Yah says that, because they would not listen. He said he would no longer tell them. Daniel said it again, that they would not understand when the wisdom came. Wisdom is just the knowledge of Yah and who we are and what's expected of us. How do we get to Yah? Through his Torah. And how do we have our prayers answered? But through his obeying his Torah. How do we experience the blessings that make it a man rich or a woman rich and add no sorrow with it? Through, Yah's blessings, through Yah's Torah. They're being told it's not necessary. But yet the word says it's absolutely as necessary. But even worse, brothers and sisters, that there would be men and women among us conspiring against us to tell us these things are not important. They telling us Yah's word, the most powerful thing ever created is Yah's word. And they're telling you that Yah's word doesn't matter, or Yah's word can be compromised. In other words, it's just a matter of opinion or difference of opinion. Another clever word they're using now. I'm just going to agree to disagree. And when they say that, they're meaning that they're not going to keep the commandments in full. They're going to do the part they want to do, but whatever makes them uncomfortable or whatever they feel timed, y'all should understand we're living in a different time now. So, what's his problem? Is he asleep or something? Doesn't he realize now that things have changed and we changing with the times? And, although he does not change, will never change. He said he cannot change, will not change. It's his word. And they're saying, well, that's his problem if he don't catch up with us. And the word said, no, it's going to be your problem when he catches up with you. Or them. Yah's word is the most powerful thing ever created. You talk about nuclear bombs, direct energy weapons. Those things have nothing on Yah's word. Whenever you see Yah's word, or you read Yah's word, or Yah's word is being spoken, if you were in your right mind, you would stop, drop, and listen. Stop what you're doing. Drop what you're doing. Pay attention. Sir, and then pay attention. Even if you didn't feel like it applied to you, you would stop, drop, and listen and ask the question, okay, what's being said here? What's being said? Okay, all right, I'm good. I can keep going now. Not to would be like, driving 70 miles an hour going through a traffic signal where it's turned red with traffic coming in the opposite direction or coming in the crossways, and you go right through that traffic signal that says stop because you didn't notice it or you didn't respect it, and someone never sees you and he comes right into you and your 11 seconds is done. When you turn away and ignore the power of Yahuah's words. We as messengers are just here to deliver the message. We're not the creator. We're just watchmen. Those who warn Yah's people. And for those of you who are offended by those warnings, then, there's no benefit in attacking us. But you may think so. Well, I'll just unsubscribe. I just won't listen to them anymore. Okay, and then what? That's going to make your life better? So every time you find someone who says something you don't agree with, you're going to just run to the next, like a little vagabond, house to house, man to man, woman to woman, and you think you're going to find an answer in that? No, you're not. That's another warning. No, you're not. You were better off if you just toughed it out. Stay put. Give it time. See what Yah can do. Hallelujah. But let's get it. Here's what Candace and that group does. It says here. But it's interesting because you just heard me read what Abba Yah said the watchman was to warn the people. But look what David says. Precepts here, brothers and sisters. Psalms 83. It says, keep not silent. Hold not your peace. And be not still, O Yahuah. What does that mean? What does that mean? Yahuah, keep not still. Don't be quiet. Don't hold your peace. In other words, y'all deal with this situation. That's what he's saying. Bring forth judgment as a warning again. In David's case, it's a request. He's asking Yah. This is the King of Kings, David. At least he'll be, the King of Kings on the new earth. He won't be Elohim. He'll just be one of the kings amongst many of you, my brothers. As well as myself, I pray. He'll be the king, and we'll be kings too, if we're obedient. A part of his royal court. And when you read over in the book of Isaiah, to you, my brothers and my daughters, your Zion and your queens and princes, well, you will be women of stature. Women of honor. Women who are worthy of respect and will be respected. It talks about us in the book of Isaiah 14:1. It talks about how those who have been the oppressors of us will be servants to us. You can read that in the book of Isaiah 14, start at verse 1. But here David is saying to Yahuah, don't hold your peace. Judge this thing. It's gone too far. And then he goes on to say, for lo, your enemies are making a tumult. In other words, they're creating confusion. And that's what these Candace and the Jesse Lee Petersons, or Jesse Peterson, and the Thomas Dowes, the Larry Elders. I'm talking about the traitors among us, the Judas Iscariot, if you want to believe he ever existed. That's what they're there for, to create confusion among us by saying, oh no, the heathens are not guilty for black on black crime. Well, the heathens responsible for 3 strike laws and Biden bills that says that, laws crack the cocaine when his son is a cokehead, and your son sold rocks or crack, his son gets to become a multi-billionaire, your son gets to serve the rest of his life in prison. Now make that make sense. And our people stood right behind that devil and voted for him. What did he tell, Charlemagne, the God? Should really, whatever he's calling himself over there. If you don't vote for me, you ain't black enough. And that idiot sat there, just like he said with Larry Elder on the Breakfast Club last week, looking like a dummy. That he is. Brain fart. Didn't know what the hell to say. Him and his DJ Envy. What a name for a man. But then again, they are envious against Israel. I'm talking about inside of Israel. They hate themselves. Therefore, they spew their hatred on us by telling us we're responsible for everything that happens, and the hidden hand that's driving it all is just a figment of our imagination. We just need to get over that part. Yet though these heathens are so wicked, they're trying to clean up history. They're trying to remove everything. Rewrite history books, get rid of monuments, get rid of all the evidence of their crime and atrocities. While these devils are out here promoting to each and every one of us, nothing to see over there. Yeah, I know they rape your grandmother, and I know they enslave your great-great-grandfather, and I know the language you speak right now is not your language because your oppressors came and colonized you or enslaved you, and they gave you no other language but their language, and damn, they'll chop your feet, hands, head, tongue out your mouth if you didn't speak it. But nothing to see here. They didn't do any of that. Oh, that was a long time ago. Interesting. But my last name is Green. What's your last name? Is it tribal? My language is English. What's your language? Is it native to your people? But they say, oh, that's no scars. We're walking evidence of the scars, brothers and sisters. We're walking, living evidence of the scars of their behavior. And yet they're telling us again, nothing to see here. Well, when the truth is hidden in plain sight because you're allowing them to socially engineer you through their music, through their politics, through the entertainment avenues, then I guess you will believe them. I guess you will drink the Kool-Aid. Jim Jones, Guyana Tragedy, People's Temple. Look that up. I'm talking about so you know what the word or the term drink the Kool-Aid came from. For my younger brothers and sisters, okay? And you hear us talking about drinking the Kool-Aid, that's not a good thing. It's not the Kool-Aid you might think we're talking about. Just think cyanide. But do a little research, okay? That's good for your mind, stimulation. Verse 3. And what he says here, they have taken crafty counsel to keep us confused. They're slick. They're sneaky. They use clever words. They use reverse psychology. They make the victim the criminal. And they make the criminal the just. By crafty behavior, hiding evidence in plain sight, as they're aggressively doing right now. Right in front of our faces while people are sitting around, hanging out under the tree because it's hot outside. Trying to figure out what the next Madden game coming, or Call of Duty, so they can get caught up in the real world, not the real world. So they have to deal with a true reality that says not only are their people under attack, they're under attack, and it's not going to end good for them. So what better way to keep you from thinking about that is giving you toys and entertainment. Give the people, what did Caesar say? Give the people food and entertainment, and you can do whatever the hell you want to do to them. That's a real statement, by the way. And it applied 1,000 years ago, and it still applies today. Give them food and entertainment, and you don't have to worry about what they're thinking about. You don't have to worry about them rebelling. You don't have to worry about them fighting back. Verse 4. Well, verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against your people, talking about us, and consulted against your little ones, or hidden ones, talking about us, and said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel, that means getting rid of our people, may be no more in remembrance. That means getting rid of all of the evidence. Critical race theory, get it out. The monuments, take them down. The history books, rewrite them. Change the word from enslavement to people that were marginalized. If they say, we were enslaved, say no way, Africans enslaved Africans, never acknowledging that we're not Africans. Africans enslaved Israelites. Like the Egyptians did to the Hebrews. Like the Arabs did to the Hebrews. Like the European did to the Hebrews. But see, when you don't know who you are, brothers and sisters, then others get to tell you who you are. And when that happens, the prophecy of Isaiah says, the ass knows his owner. 1 and 3, right? Isaiah 1 and 3. The ox knows his master's crib. But you are lost. Israel's lost. They don't know who they are, and they won't even consider. That's what happens. Men and women like myself, we're here to fight against that from happening by not letting them forget the past. How does the saying go? Those who forget their past are doomed to repeat it. That's a truism. In other words, that's a fact. But if you want scripture that tells you the exact same thing, Hosea 4 and 6 says what? Our Yah people is destroyed, what? For a lack of knowledge. What knowledge is he talking about? A lack of what knowledge? So is Yah saying there's things we're supposed to know about that we don't know about? Is Yah telling us there's interests that we should be embracing that we're rejecting? Is Yah saying there are warnings that we should take heed to, but we're rejecting those warnings? Yeah, I think that's what he's saying. Better yet, that's exactly what he's saying when he says, my people, Israel, are being destroyed because of a lack of important knowledge. And as I stated before, brothers and sisters, there's no knowledge more important than Abba Yah's word. It's the most powerful entity on this earth. Abba Yah and his word is one and the same as your words are. But the difference between us and him, what he says, it will come to pass. And there's a lot of warnings here, as this one that I'm reading right now, to destroy your people, Israel. That's been going on for a very long time, although you get the Whitlocks and the Elders and the Sowers and the Owens and the Petersons and many, many others. Some you know, some that are walking right amongst you, some who fellowship with you, some who you fellowship with, some who you call pastors, Dow and Jennings and Jakes and Dollar and Bryant. All pushing and promoting the same agenda, the destruction of Israel. Most of our people got jabbed up because those heathens, they called pastors who they trusted, told them to do it. And when they went to the same people and said, well, isn't my body the temple of Abba Yahuah? And aren't I not supposed to put things in there that I don't know anything about? And you know what those demons, these wolves in sheep's clothing told those people? Well, if this is Yah's way of saving you. This is his lifeboat to you. This is the ark for you. You want to know what Jesus will do? Jesus will tell you to take the jab. And all these people, listen to them. So many people, 7 out of 10 of our people listen to them. And now a lot of those people who listen to them are left with dealing with the state of condition that they're in. And many of them, if they were being transparent and honest, will tell you there's something going on, there's something quite not right inside of them that's happening to them. If they wanted to be transparent. Many of them are afraid to say it because they don't want to be stigmatized and ostracized. I get it. But it changes nothing. The results are still going to, whether they share it or don't share it, refuse to do something about it, it's not going to change what the die has been cast. The Kool-Aid has been drunk. But with that said, even in that wickedness, Yah can redeem you. But you're going to have to come all the way out of that mess. You're going to have to come all the way back to Yahuah, brothers and sisters. You got to come out of those churches. You got to come out of those synagogues. You got to come out of all the religions, brothers. And I'm not telling you to follow me. I'm telling you follow Yah. I'm telling you get your cipher out, and then you ask Abba Yah to open up your knowledge, to open up your understanding, to put you with like-minded individuals who are studying as well, amongst elders and watchmen who can interpret, not only read the scripture, but can interpret what the scripture is saying. And that's where you plant your flag, and you don't budge. And when your 11 seconds is up, what do you think y'all going to recognize you were doing up until that time? Talking about those of you who listen to them. What do you think he's going to recognize? He's going to recognize your last works. He's going to recognize your last works. Now, what do you want them to be? Sitting around playing Madden and Call of Duty? Or twerking? Or headed to the next Beyonce concert? Trying to figure out what's going to happen with Offset or Quavo? Who's going to win the game next week? Who's going to start for the Saints? Where do you think your time will be better spent? There or over here with us? those who are studying Yah's word, those who are trusting Yah's word, and those who are being tested by Yah's word and saying Yah keeps his word. If you can believe that. Yah actually keeps his words. Yahuah actually answers prayers. Wow. But you won't know that by not heeding, running away, being emotionally unstable, easily offended. You won't know this truth that we know. But we know we are experiencing the blessings. And we have a guarantee. Because some people, well, I'm being blessed too, but do you have a guarantee that when you do die and your 11 seconds are up, that you're going to be, in the new heaven and the new earth with Yahuah? Do you have a guarantee on that? Because please don't tell me, your all-inclusive religions have told you that, because these are the same people who promote now in their churches homosexuality. They promote, pro-choice in their churches. They promote, all kind of damnable behavior. They support the government in their churches. Please don't think that that's the place that you should be taking advice from. There's a quote in the book that said, the blind lead the blind. There's a quote in Proverbs says that, there's a way, I don't want to misquote it. There's a way that seems right to you. You might think, oh no, I know I'm right, brother. I know I'm right. I know. But guess what the book says? Even though you think that you're right, you're sincere. No questioning about you. I'm not questioning your sincerity, your certainty. You are certain you are right. I'm not questioning what you think. I'm questioning, have you read that in the Torah? That there's some other Redeemer for you other than Yahuah and Yahuah alone. Because I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, if you're studying this book, you're not going to come to any other conclusion but Yahuah and Yahuah. As a matter of fact, if you're studying this book, you will leave the New Testament alone, period. You won't even go over there anymore. So if your certainty is based off of a book that was written by them, although they want to tell you, oh no, God did it, oh God did it. I heard old Wicked Jennings telling people, oh no, Paul said it, but it wasn't Paul, it was Jesus and Paul that said it. Wow. Wow. Can you imagine that? If somebody coming in and tell you, hey, Jesus and me telling you to do something, and you would do it. Regardless, no matter what it is, tell you that Jesus is in them, and that's what you should do. Can you imagine someone around you telling you that? And you listening to them? Someone says, yeah, I would. Okay, then you'll end up drinking the Kool-Aid. You better go look that up. What happened with Jim Jones, People's Temple, Guyana, and drinking Kool-Aid. Because they thought that he was Jesus too. Or they thought Jesus was in him. Just like they're telling you Jesus and Paul. But yet Paul was killing so-called Christians. How that works? No, I'm sorry. Paul was killing Jews. Israelites. Better say, excuse me. Excuse my language. Paul was killing Israelites. Well, no, brother, but he was trying to kill him because he was lost and he never was found. And if you're following him in his New Testament lies, twistaments, you're not going to be found in. Isaiah 1 and 3 applies. I know you don't like me saying it, but I said it. But the conspirator fixes in, brothers. This game is already won. This game is over. It's like chess. If you play against a master chess player and you're an amateur, you might know some moves, But after the first, second move, a professional player, a master chess player, he's sitting there looking at you like, game over. You're like, what are you talking about, man? I only moved twice. Look at you. The game is over. And you're looking at him like, what are you talking about? He said, give me a few minutes. You'll understand. But Yahuah is telling us, each and every one of us, brothers and sisters, to warn each and every one of us, including the unbeliever, that this is over. We're living in the last days. Whether you believe it or not, embrace it or not, turn your head or not, that is totally up to you, dear sister. But it changes nothing. All you're going to do is become more and more enamored in whatever it is that you're doing, or whatever it is your body has you doing or will not allow you to do. It's just going to continue to regress or degress. If you're still following along and you can still comprehend this conversation, but I mean understanding, not disrespecting your intellect, do you know that this is another crossroads for you, or another opportunity for you? That you can literally stop in your track and reverse feel? See, I'm done with this world. I'm done with this unholiness. I'm tired of running. I'm tired of hopping from church to church, group to group, study to study. I'm going to plant my flag. I'm going to put my ass. I'm going to stay right here, right there. And I am going to what's the old saying? I'm going to just bear through it. I'm going to hunker down. I'm going to suffer through it. No more running for me. I'm here. Hell or high water. I ain't going nowhere. For some of you brothers and sisters, this is the opportunity. Don't make you a lesser entity. It makes you intelligent, makes you wise. Even a stranger, if he was in he or her in their right mind, they know I'm telling the truth. I'm talking about if they're in their right mind and they're studying the Torah, like many of them told you was done away with, men told us that it was done away with. Those who are studying the Torah, they know I'm right. If you're among somebody right now that's a stranger or so-called heathen, non-bloodline Israelite, look him in the face and say, is Brother DFG telling the truth? Just look at him. Look him in the eye and say, is he telling the truth? I guarantee you, just do it. They know. The stranger know. But Israel doesn't have a clue. Not all of us. I'm talking about 2/3 of us. And if you don't know what that is, you're already in trouble. When you hear us talk about the 2/3, the unbelieving 2/3, if you don't know who we're talking about or what that is about, again, that is another reason why you should be a part of Bible study, at least this study group. And I'm not saying this is the only study group. Don't misunderstand me, young man. Not telling anybody to follow me. You're the only one got the truth. No, I just have Yah's truth. What truth you have? Who you're following and what are they teaching you? Well, I don't need anybody to teach me. I can learn on my own. So you're going to believe that first John foolishness. I know where you got that from. Been there, done that. Then you're the equivalent of a sheep out in the field with a whole bunch of other sheep, with a shepherd telling you stay with the flock, and you decide, no, I'm going to do my own thing. And you got wolves all in the woods looking for you, the one who's going to be by themselves, unprotected, thinking that you're going the right way. And why? Because you sincerely believe that you can do this walk by yourself. And brothers and sisters, that is not in this book. Our book talks about assembling ourselves together. Being together as a nation. 12 tribes with laws, statutes, and commandments. How you figure that means being a loner? What if all of us took that position? Will we not be scattered? What did the prophet say? Kill the shepherd and what? The sheep will be scattered? What does that mean? They want us out there by ourselves. They want you out there by yourself. Because see, when the dangerous time comes, there's not going to be nobody to protect you. You're going to be by yourself. Well, Yah will protect you. Where does that say that if you go against his commandments? Why would he be telling us in Deuteronomy chapter 6, teach your children, put the word all over the house, put the word all outside of the house, if he wanted us to be by ourselves, alone? The Creator who created you as a nation of people wants you by yourself. Now, you're smart enough. How does that make sense to you? Well, I know how it makes sense to you. But what I'm saying to you, my sisters, my brothers, that is not the way of Israel. That is not the way of Yahuah. He wants us together so that we, 1/3, can fight and stand, protect, and serve each other before him. And anybody telling you something different is just a lying heathen devil. And they're trying to get you out there by yourself so you can be taken advantage of. You'll be easy seizure. Our book says one can put 1,000 to flight. That's no doubt about it. But 2, 10,000. How about that? Isn't that not David what he wanted with Psalms 97 and 91 and 7? There's strength in numbers is what I'm saying. Why would you not understand that? Because we live in a society that talks about exclusivism instead of inclusivism. That's why you think that. A society that tells you don't trust your brother, don't trust your sisters, don't trust your women, don't trust your men. That's why you're thinking that way. So when they come for you, they don't have to worry about an army fighting for you. That's why men and women like myself are so dangerous to them. We're a threat to them. Because we understand the power of numbers and we know Yah is with those who are with them. That's why he said that decisions be made with what? With 2 or 3 witnesses. How are you going to be making decisions? How you know if you're right if there are no witnesses right there with you to help you validate it? Then not he said that every word be established by 2 or 3 witnesses? Well, how are you a loner and how are you getting validated loner? How do you know you're right, loner? Where are your witnesses, loner? You see why I'm saying don't be a loner? If that means swallowing your pride and say, well, I'm gonna get with a like-minded body of believers and get back into the book and get back on my job. If that means you got to swallow some pride to do it, then swallow that damn pride. Trust me. It might be bitter going down, but see, when the results and the blessings come, it's going to be sweet, sweet, sweet. Hallelujah. I hadn't talked about this in a moment. Ooh, thank you, Brother Adrian, again. As sweet as honey. And you notice that honey is being used. Honey sitting on the counter on the shelf is not going to help your immune system. Remember, this is the food of the angels. All through the book, if you were reading it, when we needed to get strong, we need to fight off illnesses. One of the things they always said, go get the honey. Go get the honey. Where's the honey? When we were hungry, go get the honey. We wanted to be better lovers, go get the honey. To you, my brothers. Hallelujah. Okay, I think I've laid the groundwork for the message. Hallelujah. Jeremiah chapter 30. Hallelujah. Praise Yah. We about to chop this up, brothers and sisters. Where my brothers at? Y'all with me? Huh? Where them warriors at? Where y'all at? Y'all ready? Let's go, brothers. Sisters, where y'all at? Let's go. Let's chop it up. Come on, daughters of Zion. We're listening. Cheers on. Hallelujah. I know you love a righteous man who stand before Abba Yah. And I know you understand their importance in your life, dear sisters, daughters of Zion. Jeremiah chapter 30. And the word, the most powerful entity on this earth, came to Jeremiah from Yahuah, saying, Thus says Yahuah of Israel. Didn't say Yahuah of the world. He might be the creator of this world, but Israel belongs to him. We are his. We are chosen by him. Oh, the heathens among us will tell you, oh no. What did Genesis say? Your dirty black skin that his ass is in too. Thus speaks Yahuah of Israel, saying, Write you all the words that I have spoken unto you in the cipher. The cipher. For lo, the days come, says Yahuah, I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel and Judah. So we're two nations under one sovereign father, Yasharel, or the world calls Yaakov, or the world calling Jacob. For lo, the days come, says Yahuah, I will bring again the captivity of my people, Yasharel and Judah, says Yahuah. And I will cause them to return to the land which I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it. See, this ends well for us, brothers and sisters, but you have to be on the right side of things, the 1/3 to be exact, if you want to win. In other words, if you want to get in. And you can't do this, brothers and sisters, once your life has expired. You can't do this, once your brain has been fried. What do you mean, brothers? Between drugs, alcohol, chemicals in your body. Some you know about, some you don't know about. You got to do this when you're in your right mind. Brother, I ain't been in my right mind in a long time. Well, join the team, but you can get out of that. There's some clarity there. I'm giving you the clarity. I'm warning you. I'm directing you to what clarity is. Clarity of thought, wisdom lies in Abba Yah's word, Yahuwah's word, his truth. He can clean your mind up. But you got to take the first step. Come back. Possess the land. Obey. Let's go on here. Let's continue. Verse 4. And these are the words Yahuwah spoke concerning Yasharel, concerning Judah. Verse 5. Thus says Yahuwah, we have heard a voice of trembling of fear, and not of peace. Ask you now and see whether a man travails for a child, or if a man cries for his child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, and a woman in travail, and all the faces are turned into paleness. Paleness is just another look of fear or terror. Yahuwah is judging things. That's why you hear all this perturbation of the mind. Say, what's that word? It's another word for mental illness and anxiety, worry, stress, depression, etc. Unstable mentally. We talked about it on the Bible study too, believe it or not, in the vision of Noah. That word is there. They're saying there will be a time in the end where people will be what we would call scatterbrained, can't focus, lack the ability to concentrate. Verse 7. Alas, or another word, but. You think, yeah, women might be crying and our men might be having their hands on their head like that. That's, when he says hands on your line, he's just sitting with a brother. If something goes so bad, brother, you just, it's sort of like that. That's what he means. Women we already know what that means when they're crying. But, when we get in a fix, typically our hands go on our head like, holy shit, what am I going to do now? He says, alas, for that day is great, and none is like it, even to the time of Jacob's trouble. Even to the time of Jacob's trouble, Israel's trouble. David just talked about it in Psalms 83. You've heard me talk about it. You heard, I mentioned what Brother Franklin shared with us around venereal diseases and the conspiracy against our people by promoting, a lifestyle that kills. Let us continue. The time of Jacob's trouble. Brothers and sisters, it's going to get bad. But he shall be saved out of it. Who is he? The 1/3 of Israel. Zechariah 13:8 says we will be tried through the fire. 1/3 of us, like fine silver and gold. We're going to get tested. In other words, the time of trouble. What are you going to do now? With all the temptation, all the distractions, all the misinformation. Now they're saying, this September, the Biden administration going to push, the whole little, stuff again. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Oh, it's coming. And the new one, according to them, that's coming, it's going to be it ain't going to be a whole lot of talking with that one. It's going to be a whole lot of, I guess, weeping and wailing because of the impact of the next one. So the question I think we all should be asking ourselves, are we in a position to avoid that? Are we in a situation that if they tried to force it upon us, we would still could be able to say no? If your survival, your ability to eat and to drink and have a roof over your head were the conditions for which, you could live, came down to doing it or not, are you in position to say no? I'm not going to do it. See, that's the importance of community and coming out and with like-minded people. That's why you've heard me talk about it before, and I'm still talking about it. You're going to need resources, all of us. And many of us have been storing up for a long time. But also with those resources, you're going to have to do it the way Joseph talked about doing it. Remember when he was warning the people? He said, when you bring your stuff into the storage house, you have to bring it this kind of way. And what the book say, but they didn't listen to Joseph. They brought the stuff, but they did not listen to the details. What does the saying go? It's the small foxes that harm the vineyard. It's the details. I was saying that the devil's in the details. Many of our people, we listen, but we don't listen to learn. We just listen to hear. See, that's what the churches are about. The churches are just for you to sit there and just hear, but never learn. But what we do, and what this channel does, those of us who are genuinely watchmen of Yahuah, we stay with his word, and we tell you all the time, get your your hammer and your saw. Get to your sword and get busy living, or get busy dying. Your choice. That's what we say. That's the warning. That's the responsibility. But again, the only pressure you have is the pressure you place on yourself. So there's no need to get angry with us for telling you the truth. The pressure comes through Yah's word. That word is either going to deliver you, sisters and brothers, or that same word is going to be the word that's going to destroy you. Just saying to you. Somebody got to say this. Somebody got to be willing to be unpopular. Somebody got to be willing to be hated. Somebody got to be willing to be lied upon or attacked or, or whatever. Okay. I'll be your target. Here I am. You happy now? But for those who like-minded, they're saying, no, brother, we're going to align. The word is the word. Got nothing to do with you. You keep teaching the truth, we're going to keep standing with you. For you, my brothers and sisters, like Marvin Gaye said, let's get it on. Oh, baby, let's get it on. And he sung that with some bass in his voice. I just said, old things ain't like what they used to be. No sugar in them men. Strength was there. No sugar in them voices. Power in those voices. Let's go on. Verse 8. And it shall come to pass in that day, says Yahuah, that I will break the yoke from off your neck, and I will break the bonds, and the strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. In other words, the strangers will no longer take advantage of us. But they shall serve Yahuah and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them. Now this is Jeremiah talking about David their king, and he's talking about in the land that we will repossess. That's the same land. If you go over to the book of Isaiah, chapter 66, read verse 22, we talk there's going to be a new heaven and a new earth that we're going to possess, brothers and sisters, when this one is done away with. Because he is destroying this earth. So all you who love this world and you love this life, I'm just telling you, you're loving something that's going to be destroyed. A lot sooner than you think, I might add. You don't see all the signs? The fire from the skies? Maui, northern Louisiana now. Turkey, earthquakes, Saudi Arabia, hurricanes in their major city. Y'all is judging them Arabs for the wickedness they did to our people too. And for all of you so-called Israelites who want to go over, you Israelites, not so-called, all you Israelites who want to embrace Islam, y'all is judging Islam. So you sure you want to be over there with them? Just saying for a friend. Take a look, it's there. Cool it up. Hurricane winds in the middle of the desert. I'm talking about with rain and floods. In the middle of the desert. Where'd that come from? What ocean that crossed? Or what desert oceans it crossed? But it says that's judgment. And it's everywhere. Those are just a few places that I named. But I will raise up David their king. Therefore fear you not, O my servant Jacob, says Yahuah, neither be dismayed, O Yasharel. For lo, I will save you from afar, and your seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return, and shall be in rest, and be quiet, and none shall make him ever afraid again. And I just read that to you. Well, I just quoted it. But again, the book of Isaiah, 66, verse 22, talks about that. The book of Joel, 3, 1 through 2, talks about that. Again, please write these things down. Go do your own research. Verse 11. I'll say it again. For I am with you, says Yahuah, to save you. Who saves us? Who is our Savior? If you're an Israelite, Who's your Savior? According to these, again, Christian teachers or non-Christian teachers, whichever group you're following, they say Yahushua or Yahuah or Yahuah, well, however them devils say it. I don't give a damn about how to pronounce a heathen's name, an idolatrous name. I'm pretty sure probably shouldn't even let that even try to pronounce them names. Zeus, Esau, Apollo, Thor, Poseidon, Gyro, Tammuz, Semiramis, on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Different names, same face with a little coloration, depending on what part of the world you're in. But the same demon gods. If you're Israel, he says Yahuah is your Savior. Why isn't that good enough for you? Oh, I know, because the heathens told you weren't good enough for him. He created you, but you ain't good enough for the Creator who created you. Now you make that make sense in reflection. Somebody had to tell you that. That's not a conclusion you would have come up on your own. It's like having a child and saying, I'm not good enough to have the child that came through my body. What'd that say about you? This child is not good enough to love me when it came through my body. What'd that say again about you? Because that's the equivalent of what they're telling us when they say we're not good enough for Yahuah to save and redeem us. That we had to find another entity that was created by them because they served Jesus or Yahushua or whatever damn name they're calling him. And they passed that right on to our people through colonization and enslavement. And then when they took the bonds off or they broke the chains off of our bodies, that mental slavery, those chains are still there. For many of us, they were there with me for a long time. By the grace of Yahuah, it's gone. For many of you, by the grace of Yahuah, it's gone. For some of you that are new here, guess what? Them chains are being broken off of you. So don't change the channel. Don't run. Stay. Much, much more Yah has for you to learn and to know. And you don't need no PhD or degree from seminary school or cemetery school or theology school. You don't need any of that foolishness. You don't need any ordination. All you need is a heart to serve and to love your Creator. And he will guide you to those he put around you to assist you in learning all about you before him. That's how we get to see his blessings in our lives. And you will too. And that's how we get the surety of knowing that when we leave this life, when our 11 seconds are up, or he comes before that, we get to spend eternity in the new heaven and the new earth with all the things that we were denied of here. I'm talking about those of us, who have been oppressed by these wicked demons, devils, satans, all over this flat earth. But again, Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 11. He said, for I am with you, says Yahuah, to save you. To save you. I am with you. For I am, says Yahuah, to save you. Do I make the end of all the nations? Do I make a full end of all the nations? All those who have conspired against y'all going to put an end to their wickedness. Whether I have scattered you, yet I will not make a full end of you. That's where the 1/3 comes back. He said he's not going to destroy all of us, brothers and sisters. 2/3 of us are going to be destroyed. The 1/3 of us isn't. Now, if Christianity was the right way for you, then why are there 2.5 billion Christians on the earth? That's not a minority. That's not a 1/3. So what he's saying to us, that we're going to be a separated group. He's not going to, Leviticus 10:10. He's saying those who are holy are not going to mix with unholiness. He said, he's saying us, those who are clean, they're not going to practice idolatry. Which religion, in all of its many, many faces, denominations, all of it is idolatry. Aren't they governed by men? See, we're governed by Yah, not by men. No affiliations, no church, no bishop, no this, no all that stuff. We don't need any of that. We have elders. We have judges. We have high priest. And we have the Torah. None of that's religion. Verse 12. But thus says Yahuah, your bruise is incurable, and your wound, your injury, is severe. This is why we need to be turned. So that's what religion and idolatry and hatred of the truth, rejection of Yah's word, cause us to be injured, cause us to be scattered, cause us to be oppressed, cause us to be deceived, cause us to be enslaved, bondmen, bondwomen. Deuteronomy 28:15 on down, 6. So anybody say, well, brother, where is that at? I just told you. Go to the book of Deuteronomy, go to chapter 28, and start reading at verse 14, and all the way down to 68, and you'll clearly understand what it's talking about right here in Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 12. And that'll answer your question. Can we continue? Or shall we continue? Verse 13. And there is none that plead for you. So I say we will be bondmen and bondwomen, and no one will come for us. Again, Deuteronomy 28. Start reading about verse. Matter of fact, let's go over there right quick. You say right here, we're going to be enslaved, and nobody's going to come to rescue us. Brother, didn't slavery end? Do you know what the 13th Commitment says about slavery? It wasn't abolished. It just changed name from the plantation to the penitentiary. So no, it wasn't abolished. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28. See, if anybody telling you to turn away from this channel, that's why they're telling you to turn away from this channel, because look what we're teaching. Look what your brother is sharing. You really think that if they're Christians, they want you to hear this? No way. That's why they're telling you, oh, don't be listening to that guy. Oh, that guy is a demagogue. Oh, that guy is evil. Oh, that guy is the devil. Of course they're going to say all of those lies. Oh, he's mean. He's harsh. Well, yeah, that's probably true when necessary. Cry aloud, spare not. Isaiah 58:1. Lift up thy voice like a trumpet. Tell my people of their transgressions, and the house of Jacob her sins. Yeah. Yep. I'll do that if that's what Yah wants me to do for his people. I love my people enough to do it. To be rude and to be mean and whatever it takes to break the yoke off of your brains. But look what it says here, Deuteronomy 28. And it says here, let's go right over here, verse 54. And he says that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil towards his brother. That's these effeminate men out here in these streets doing all this wickedness. But let's continue on here. Hallelujah. And he goes on to say, and the reward of the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. That means men not taking care of their children, so that he will not give any of them the flesh of his children, whom he shall eat. Starvation is coming. They were not prepared. They were not prepared. Many of these men out here with all this talking, doing all this work, with their 6-figure, 7-figure salaries, and they're not prepared for what is to come. Because they think that their safety is in their prosperity or their wealth or their resources. When really true salvation is in Yah's truth. In your obedience to that truth. Let me read on here. And the tender and delicate woman among you, she shall not adventure to set her soul or the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness. And her eyes shall be evil towards her own men, and towards her son, and even her own daughter. Tell me that's not going on. Not with all of you, but so many. We know there's a fight going on inside the house, inside the family unit in Israel. Towards the young ones that come out from between her feet. That means, again, willing to abort babies. Because they're inconvenient. Again, and towards her young that come from between her legs, and toward her children which she shall bear. For she shall eat them for one of all the things secretly, in the siege and the straitness, wherein your enemy shall distress you in your gates. And if you will not guard to do the words of this Torah that is written within, hallelujah. This cipher, again, that you may fear the gloriousness and the fearful name of Yahuah. Then Yahuah will make your plagues many, your illnesses, your sickness. You're going to get greater and greater, and they're going to last longer and longer. That's what Brother Franklin was talking about. He's talking about vicious sickness, and they're going to last a long time. Really, for the rest of whatever life they have left to live. Moreover, he will bring upon you all the diseases of Egypt, which you are afraid of, and they shall stick to you like glue. Also, every sickness and every plague that is not written in the cipher of this Torah will Yahuah bring upon you until you be destroyed. Verse 62, and there should be left few in number, 1/3. Whereas you were many, as the stars of the multitude, but because you would not obey the voice of Yahuah. And it came to pass that Yahuah rejoiced over you to do good and to multiply you, so Yahuah will rejoice over you to destroy you. So this destruction, this judgment is coming from Yahuah upon us. He said, well, he wanted to celebrate us and bless us, but because we rejected him, now his pleasure is going to be in destroying 2/3 of us. How sad. How unnecessary. When you think with all this that you've already heard for the last hour and 33 minutes, do you know, brothers and sisters, there are some who's sitting here this whole time and still not taking heed to these words. That's sad. But I can't change this. This is what he says is going to happen. So we're living witnesses to it. But you would think for something that was written thousands of years ago that's happening right now that we would like step back and say, wait a minute. Wait a minute. How would they have known thousands of years ago that this would happen today? See, that in itself would legitimize the Bible for me if I were them, or those who don't believe, at least the Torah and the Tanakh. But they won't listen. Isaiah said they wouldn't. He said they won't even consider listening to what your brother is sharing today, right now. Some of us will. Some of you will. Some of you new ones will. You're here for a reason. But again, when you come to stay, stay. Don't be easily offended. Because you're following me in this channel, this word is going to offend. And the book says, woe unto you who got offended. Not blessed of you who got offended. No, it says, woe unto you who got offended. This book said, I'm going to offend you because I love you. But they say, oh, if you offend me, I'm leaving. You don't love me. Well, your worldliness is going to destroy you. That's what it says right here. He's going to destroy them. Right? Again, let me read it to you. Also, of every sickness, every plague that is written in the cycle of this Torah will Yahuah bring upon you until you be destroyed. Don't get mad at me for telling you what the word says. It's what it says. And you should be left few in numbers, 62, whereas you were as the stars of the heaven for multitude, but because you would not obey Yahuah, and it shall come to pass that as Yahuah rejoiced over you to do good for you and to multiply you, so now Yahuah will rejoice over you to destroy you and to bring you to nothing. And you shall be plucked up from the land where you go to possess it. For Yahuah shall scatter you among all the people from one end of the earth even unto the other. We just read that in Jeremiah 30, precepts. And you shall serve other Elohims, Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, Kali, Mohammed, etc., which neither you nor your fathers would have ever done, even gods made of wood and steel or stone. And among those nations which you were scattered to, you will find no peace, neither shall the sole of your feet have rest. But Yahuah shall give you a trembling heart and failing eyes and a sorrow of mind, perpetuation. Just what you heard us talking about in the vision of Noah in the book of Enoch that we studied this past Wednesday evening. And your life shall be hanging down before you, and you shall fear day and night. Worrying is what it's saying. Constantly worrying. Am I going to be able to pay my rent? Or am I going to be able to take care of my family? Am I going to lose my job? Is the company going to close down? Am I going to get laid off? Am I going to get in trouble with, my teachers? Am I going to get in trouble, with the police? Am I going to get in trouble with my taxes? Am I going to get in? You worry, 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 worry. That's the judgment of Yahuah. For those who chose to serve the gods of this world, including yourself. Yeah, you can be a god too. David talked about, are you not gods? But that God that you are to yourself cannot save nor redeem you. It really can't do anything for you, but trick you into believing that you in control. That's all being a God to yourself can do to you or for you. Trick you into believing you in control of things and you're not. Yeah, I know you think you are, but you're still not. And the day you reckon with that is the day you will break the chains, of ignorance off of your brain, off your soul. It says, and your life shall hang in doubt before you. You shall fear day and night, and you shall have no assurance of your life. In the morning you will wish that it was night, and night you will wish it was morning. I know you say, well, brother, I thought you said it was born. Well, 68, and you shall be brought to Israel again by ship, by the way of I spoke to you, and you shall see no more, and there you shall be sold to your enemies as bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. There you have it. I just gave you the long version of the story. Because you need to know how we got here and why we're here. Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 13. Hallelujah. Excuse me, brothers and sisters. For none will plead your cause, that you may be bound up, and you will have no healing medicines. See all this stuff that they selling, all this prescription stuff they're giving, all of these antidotes, that's supposed to keep you safe. Y'all say that stuff ain't going to keep you safe. And you know what's really the irony of this whole thing, brothers and sisters? Think about it. Think about this for a moment. Here's the irony of it. If these pastors who were telling our people, to do the thing a couple of years ago, y'all know what thing I'm talking about. And they told them, well, if they were studying this book, if they were studying the Torah that they told you that, not this is in the Tanakh, by the way. This is not, but if they said that the book was this old, they called it the Old Testament, that it was no longer serving a purpose. See, if they were not lying and telling that lie, and they were actually men who Abba had called. See, Geno Jennings told his people to do the do. Bishop Nathaniel told his people to do the do. Y'all know what do the do is? That. They told the people to do it so that they would not be sick. This is what they told the people. But look what it says here. In Jeremiah chapter 30 and 13. And go give this to all your friends who love Jennings and all these camp lovers and stuff. Share this with them. Look what it says. And there is no one who will plead your cause. That's 13. But look what 14 says. And all of the, 13, I'm getting ahead of myself. Look at 13 says. And there is no one to plead your cause, speak on your behalf, that you may be bound up, and you will have no healing medicine. Yeah, I read that right. So if they knew Yahuah, or they are called by Yahuah, if these are messengers from Yahuah, as many of these folk out here, some of you think they are, if they were messengers of Yahuah, how did they miss that? How did they miss that little thing? You will have no healing medicines. None. No means none. How did they miss that? Because they told you to do that thing will keep you well. Yet this says that's not true. But they told you a lie. And you still trust them? You're here for a reason. See, because God's not going to reveal his word to heathens and unbelievers, 2/3 wicked devils who have sold their souls for money. He's not going to reveal this to them. What does the wisdom of Solomon says? I want to say it's 4 and 15. Let's see if we can get there real quick. Because see, when Yah hides this stuff from them, brothers and sisters, he'll hide it from you too if you want to follow them. If you want to stay in religion, you're not going to see it. If you were to see it, if you were going to see it in religion, you would already saw it. But you're over here, and now you see it. Right? Hallelujah. Yeah, think on that for a moment. There's so much over here. Goodness. I'm going to leave it in I'm going to leave the verse in scripture that I wanted you to compare and contrast this. And just so you know, the word, it is the small foxes, it's the small things, it's the little detailed things, it's the small foxes that harm the vineyard. Brother Adrian, if you're listening, maybe you can put that right into the comments for us. Find that verse of scripture, give them the verse, chapter and verse, if you don't mind. It's the small foxes that harm the vineyard. It's the little detailed things that they can't see because Yah hides it from them because their hearts are hardened towards him. Because they're not called of Yah. They serve men. And that's why they teach men the doctrine of men. And here it is, it's saying there'll be no healing medicine, but they told you there was some, and more to come. Verse 14, and all of your lovers have forgotten you, and they seek you not. Hallelujah. For I have wounded you with a wound of the enemy, and with the chastisement of a cruel one, for the multitude of your iniquities, because your sins were increased. And that's what I was saying earlier. Some of our brothers and sisters are running away because they got chastised. And they wanted it done in secret. But our book said, no, open rebuke is better than secret love. And they would not have been rebuked if they were not in folly. They never consider that. Well, why did I get rebuked? Because you were in folly. Because you were in wickedness. You were conspiring behind the back of the elder. That's why you got scolded. Let us continue here. He says, and why do you cry now about your affliction? Your sorrow is incurable for the multitude of your wickedness, because your sins were increased. I have done these things unto you. Who did these things unto us? Yahuah. Why? Because of idolatry, Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism, Judaism, Islam, and all the other isms. Serving other Elohims. Oh, selfism, selfishness, that's a god too. Self-righteousness, another god too. Another religion. You God unto yourself, then you're a religion unto yourself. That makes you an idolater. Just saying, don't get mad at the messenger. What do you think he meant? There's a way that's going to seem right to you, but that way it's going to destroy you. What do you think that means? You think you're right because you're a God to yourself, and it's going to destroy you because you're wrong. You just think you're right. Verse 16, therefore all that devour you shall be devoured. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Exodus 21 and 20. Life for a life, foot for a foot, hand for a hand, word for a word. For every action, brothers and sisters, there is going to be a reaction. You deny Yahuah for other saviors, then Yahuah is going to need to deny you at your time of redemption or salvation. Verse 16, therefore all that devour, verse 17, well, 16, therefore all that devour you shall be devoured. I mean, all those who take advantage of you, Yah's going to take advantage of them. All of your enemies, and every one of them shall go into captivity. We talked about that in Isaiah 14. Start reading Isaiah 14, 1 on down to verse 7. He said he's going to give our enemies double for the stuff they did unto us. That's called vengeance. He said everything they have done to us, although they got their little deniers, the elders, Larry Elders and the Jason Petersons and the Candace Owens and the Jason Whitlocks, and the Thomas Saul, and all the others out there, the Geno Jennings, all of them over there saying ain't nobody did nothing to y'all. All of them damn devils, y'all say you're going to get their asses. And let me let you in on a little secret. If you're following him, he's going to get you too. But he goes on to say, they that spoil you, he going to spoil. And they that prey upon you, I will give you for a prey. Again, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Deuteronomy 32:35. Let's go over there real quick, brothers and sisters. We're getting close to the end. This is what he says. To me belongs vengeance and recompense. Their foot shall slide in due time. In other words, he said their time is coming. For all that stuff they've done to us, brothers and sisters. All those who conspired against us, inside and outside of Israel. He said their time is coming. All these backbiters, backstabbers, your time's coming. You think you're getting away with it. You think you're smart. But y'all going to have the last word, not you. So enjoy yourself. Because the day of vengeance is coming for you. Look what he says. To me belongs vengeance and recompense. Their foot shall slide in due time. He said, I'm going to get them in due time. Don't worry about them, DFG. Or my brothers and sisters. Guess I should have said that instead of DFG. For the day of their calamity is at hand. And that's what Solomon talked about in Proverbs chapter 1, 19-25. Proverbs chapter 1, 19-25 talks about the day of calamity and why it's going to happen to Israelites. It's saying this right here in Deuteronomy 32 and 35. Precepts. Teachings. That's what's happening right now. You're being taught so you can be strong and strengthen your resolve. You can fight back. Psalms 144. What did David say? The strength of Yahuah teaches my fingers to fight and my fists to war. Psalms 144. To my brothers, the warriors out there. And to you, my sisters too. The strength of the men that they love. At least the backbone. Y'all's the strength, but you guys are the backbone. When we get tired of fighting, we come home to you to get our feet rubbed. Praise Yahuah for you. And you do much more than that, but I'm just, saying. You're highly valued. Righteous daughters of Zion. And if you're a stranger, you too. If you're obedient. Look what he says here. Again, let's go to 35 again. Again, Deuteronomy in the Torah, 32 and 35. This book that's done away with all this knowledge here, and they want to tell you it's not important. They must be crazy. I wouldn't listen to them. Not me. Let them not read it. We're going to read it over here. Let them not believe it. We're going to keep it over here. To me belongs vengeance and recompense, says Yahuah. And their foot shall slide in due time. And for the day of their calamity is at hand. And all the things that shall come upon them will come fast. For Yahuah shall judge his people. And their sigh, or their small, in the sigh of his servants. And when he sees that their power is gone, and there is none shut up or left, he's going to close their mouths. He's going to shut them down. Inside and outside of Israel. Back to Jeremiah 30. But see, Yah is just. He's just. We come to him, he's always there for us. 2 Chronicles 16 and 19 says what? Yah's presence go throughout the whole earth. 2 Chronicles 16 and 9, looking to show himself strong, looking to show his power in all of us whose hearts are turned to him. Him only, the sovereign Savior, the sovereign Redeemer. Sovereign means the only one. That's the only way you're going to see his strength. I'm talking about on a continual basis. Not talking about the little spikes here and there, where the gods of this world can bless you with something only to take it back. Well, Yah is just like that. Yahuah. With all these other gods, it's like that. Good days, bad days, good days. Which one you think better serves your purpose? Like Joshua said, whom will you serve? 24 and 15. But I know who I'm going to serve. I'm going to serve the one who takes my life like that. Upward spiral. For those who can't see me, I'm just giving an illustration. You're going up. You're progressing. Your knowledge is increasing. Your wisdom is increasing. Your blessings are increasing. Because you're in obedience. Your prayers are being heard and answered. Because you're obeying Abba Yah's Torah. Verse 17. For I will restore health unto you, and I will heal you of your wound. So those of you who took the jab, here's what he's saying. Come back to Yah. He said, you come to my Torah, you obey my Torah, I'm going to heal you. See, that's the solution for it. But you ain't going to find it, in medicine. We just read that. There's no healing medicines. Didn't we just read that? Jeremiah 30:13 says, they have no healing medicines. So if you really want to be healed, sister, you want to be healed, brother, here it is. Obey his Torah. Keep his commandments. Be obedient. Come out of rebellion. Lose your pride. Stand up for the truth. Obey. Accept chastisement. He loves you for that. Correction. You see how Yah using us today, brothers and sisters, on this Shabbat? How many family members we know who took it? Maybe it's the time now you say, hey, come on, I need to talk to you about it. Or share this business. Y'all need to listen. Y'all need to go to minute 150 and listen all the way for 10 minutes. Because, if you want to get out of the fix that you in because you took the fix, the brother's telling us how to do it. Now, if you don't want to hear that, then don't come complain to me, when your bowels can't be controlled any longer. Or you're regurgitating bowel. Because now your liver is not functioning. Harsh but true. For I will restore your health unto you, and I will heal you of your wounds, says Yahuah, not anybody else. He goes on to say what? Because they called you an outcast, saying, this is Zion, whom no man seeks after, saying y'all ain't nothing but nobodies. Y'all Proverbs, you ain't nothing but a bunch of this and a bunch of that. Look down upon us. They're looking down upon us. All the nations of this earth who conspire against us, they look down their noses at us. Some because of the behavior of some of us, others just because of who you are. A so-called, in their world, black man, Negro, nigger, whatever word they're using, coon. He said, just because they say you're outcast, don't mean he cast you out. The only way we are cast out if we serve their gods and we disrespect our sovereign Yahuah Elohim. So yeah, if you keep the Torah, you're serving Yah, you're fellowshipping among the like-minded brothers and sisters, you serve no other Elohim but Yahuah, yeah, you're going to be seen as an outcast. But you're also going to be blessed. Verse 18. Thus says Yahuah, behold, I will bring again the captivity of Jacob's tents, and have mercy on his dwelling place. And the city shall be built upon her own hill, and the palace shall remain after the manner thereof. And out of them shall proceed thanksgiving, and the voice that will make them merry. And I will multiply them, 24 babies and more. I will multiply them, and they shall be few. as they were few, they shall not be few. And I will also glorify them, and they shall not be small anymore. And their children shall also be as before time, strong and live to be 1,000 years old. And their assembly shall be established before me. Their assembly, brothers and sisters. That's what I'm saying. Don't let nobody tell you need to be a loner out there. Their assemblies. The Bible study group is an assembled group of people. We're not an organization. We're an assembled group of like-minded people learning and growing in the knowledge of who we are as Israel and who we serve in as regards to our sovereign Yahuah Elohim. That's the name we're going to call them. They can call them whatever they call them. We calling them Yahuah. That's written in our cipher. And the children also shall be strong as they were aforetime, when they were living to be hundreds and thousands of years, well, hundreds and hundreds of years old. But the book said the children will live to be 1,000, so that's not an exaggeration. And what he goes on to say, verse 20, their children shall live as they did a long time ago, and their assembly shall be established before me, and I will punish all that oppress them. So all of our enemies he's going to put under our feet. He's going to oppress those who have oppressed us. He's going to oppress those who have oppressed you if you come out and serve him, brothers and sisters. Hallelujah. I might be the teacher of this word, but this is a good word. I'm glad I'm teaching this word. Praise Yahuah. All praises to Yahuah. All praises to Yahuah. All praises to Yahuah for allowing me to teach this word. And I hope you feel the same way. But don't just be a hearer of the word, brothers and sisters. Do it. Do it. Be a doer of it. Share it. Thumb it up. Don't let this go. This is the time you need to get aggressive. You say, no, I ain't letting that go. That's way too much. And how do I know that I'm ever be able to have this moment again before Yahuah with like-minded believers who are listening to this message? I'm doing something with this. That's my humble opinion. But not so humble. Because this unlocks all his blessings, brothers and sisters. This knowledge, this truth. We've covered a lot here. We're talking about good stuff. Stuff that you can use. User-friendly stuff here. Verse 21. And their nobles shall be of themselves, and their governors shall proceed from the midst of them. See, we're not going to have to serve the heathens' governors, the heathens' presidents, the heathens, whatever they set mayors. We're going to be our own government. We're going to serve Israelites. There will be no heathen rulers over us. Deuteronomy 7:15 said there shall not be a stranger above us. Daughters of Zion, your covering going to be your men, not zaddies. Y'all know what that means. And for those who are not hip, white man or any other man other than an Israelite man. A 1/3 Yah serving Israelite man. Let's say that the right way. One who follows Yah so you can follow him. He said we will govern ourselves, and leaders shall proceed from the midst of us. And I will cause him to draw near, and he shall approach unto me. For who is this that engaged the heart to approach unto me, says Yahuah? And who shall be my people? Wow, like that. That's Jeremiah. 2 Chronicles 7:14. My people who are called by my name, if they will humble them, if they will turn from their wicked, if they will humble themselves and pray and turn away from their wickedness, then what? He said, he will hear our prayers and forgive us our sins, hear our prayers, which means he will restore what it is, or he will reward us for what we're seeking from him. Again, 2 Chronicles 7:14. Reference it. Cross-reference it. And you shall be my people, and I will be your Elohim. Hallelujah. Isaiah 66:22 is another cross-reference for that verse. And behold, the whirlwind of Yahuah goes forth with a fury, continuing the whirlwind, and it shall fall with pain upon the head of the wicked. So you see all these hurricanes and tsunamis and earthquakes and fires. That's Yah's doing. He's judging this earth and the wicked that dwell upon it. And the fierce anger of Yahuah shall not return until he have done it, and until he have performed the intents of his heart in the latter days. And will you consider this? Wow. Wow. Will you listen is what he's saying. When he said, will you consider, he's saying, will you listen, brothers and sisters? Are you hearing with your ears, seeing with your eyes? Or are you hearing with the ears of others who have programmed you into believing that Yahuah and Yahuah alone is not your Redeemer? Who are tempting you with the cares of this world, all of the blessings that they claim are blessings that are going to get destroyed very, very soon. Do you see Yah or do you see things? Consider. Ask yourself that question. All these things are going to perish and be destroyed. So why would you invest in that? Invest in Yahuah, that's eternal, and who's promised to not only bless you here, but to bless you eternally when your life ends here. That's a guarantee. Again, brothers and sisters, I want to thank you for your time. Shabbat Shalom. For your new subscribers, welcome. Glad to have you here. Stay for a while. There are going to be times I'm going to say things that's going to challenge you. There'll be times I'm going to say things that make you want to unsubscribe. Don't do it. Stay here. Share the message. Thumb it up. But live it out. More to come, y'all willing. But if you don't get anything over here, you're going to get the Torah. You're going to get the Tanakh. And if you join us on our Bible studies, you're going to get all three. Torah teaching, Tanakh teaching, and Apocryphal book teachings. Like the vision of Noah that some of you missed last Wednesday night. That being said, may Yah bless you. May Yah protect you. May Yah put his Ruach around you. May he give you peace. May he give you safety. But more importantly, may he give you a heart to seek him day and night so that you might be positioned to receive all of the blessings that comes with redeeming or redemption and salvation as only provided or can be provided by our sovereign Yahuah. I appreciate your time and I appreciate you. DFG, Shabbat, Shalom, Yahuah, Shalom.